Hello people, so let's do some examples for GRE 502, slopes of points and equations. And we know slope, right now we have many different ways to find slope, but when we're talking about from points, we're going to use our formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this is going to give me the change in y over the change in x, which is going to be my rise over my run. This triangle here means change. So in this first one here, all we need to do is use our formula. So I'm going to use m for slope as a variable. And so I would do y2. So this is like an x and a y. This is an x and a y. So the formula says we're going to subtract the y's. And it doesn't matter which one you choose to be y2 and y1 as long as you are consistent. But just to keep things simple, I'm going to call this 2, this coordinate point 2, this coordinate point 1. So I'm going to do 1 minus 1. And then I would have 8 minus, and it's a negative there, so I'm going to put it in parentheses. And that's going to chippity chop on the bottom. 1 minus 1 is 0 over 10. Now, do not leave a number as 0 over 10 because we know 0 divided by anything is going to be 0. If you would get a fraction for these, please make sure that you are reducing those as well. Let's take a look at number 3. And let's do A and B together. So in this one it says find the missing coordinate for the problems below. So we have two coordinates. It looks like there's a missing x value. We are given a slope. Well, I know the slope of these can be found using my formula. So I'm going to do y2 minus y1 would be negative 8 minus 4 all over x minus 2. And this is the slope between those points. They gave us a slope as well. So I'm just going to set that equal to negative 4. And let's go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to work over to the side here. On top here, I would have a negative 12 over x minus 2. That's still equal to negative 4. Okay, at this point, I don't like this x minus 2 on the bottom. And what I'm going to do to get rid of that, I'm going to erase my arrow here. I'm going to multiply both sides by x minus 2. The reason I'm doing that on this side, when I multiply by x minus 2, it is going to cancel this divided by x minus 2. And I would end up with negative 12 on this side. That's all that's left because that canceled. Over here, I would have negative 4 times the quantity x minus 2. And let's go ahead and distribute. On this side, we'd have negative 12 is equal to negative 4x. That would become a plus 8. Let's subtract our 8 from each side. And I get negative 20 is equal to negative 4x. And we'll divide by negative 4. And this is going to end up being a positive 5. And that's the answer for letter A. And we're going to probably run out of room here. And I apologize, excuse me, for that. Let's do letter B. Same idea. This time we're missing a y coordinate, though. Let's write our equation. So it'll be y minus 3 over 5 minus 4 is equal to 5. And I'm going to rewrite this as y minus 3 over 5 minus 4 is 1 is equal to 5. Okay, and I'm going to multiply by 1, or actually, when it's over 1, I don't really need it, but if this was a number other than 1, I can multiply both sides by it to undo this division. So really, I can just think of this as being y minus 3 is equal to 5. Again, that's because that's a 1. And then we'll add 3, and we'll end up with y is equal to 8. Let me give you a hint on C here. It says the slope is undefined. Well, we know when a slope is undefined, our equation on the bottom should equal 0. So I'm going to let you think about how you'd handle that situation. Let's go to the back side. And I got two questions for you on the back side. First one is find the slope of the line perpendicular to this line. So first of all, I know perpendicular means they meet at 90-degree angles. I also know that when lines are perpendicular, I know that the slopes have to be opposite reciprocals. So step one is I need to figure out the slope of this. To figure out the slope of any equation, I'm going to turn that equation into y equals mx plus b. So to do that, I'm going to get y by itself. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'm going to get some more lead. This guy's nighty-night. I got 4y is equal to negative 3x. Let's divide by 4. I don't need to write plus 0, so that's why I don't have anything. If there was a number, I would have to write that. And then let's divide by 4, and I would have y is equal to negative 3/4 x. Now, this is the equation, same equation as this, just in slope-intercept form. And I recognize that the slope right here is negative 3/4. The question says find the slope of the line that's perpendicular. So what I want is a slope that is the opposite reciprocal. So the slope perpendicular, that's a symbol I can use for perpendicular, is going to be a positive 3/4. Nope, not a positive 3/4. The opposite would be positive, but it would be 4/3. Dunzo with that guy. Okay, let's move on to number 8. So in number 8, it says, what is the x-coordinate of x comma 17? If it's on the line that passes through the points 1, 2, and negative 1, negative 8 on the standard coordinate plane. Now, there's many different ways to do this problem, and I'm not saying this is the only way to solve it, but I know if this is on this line, this point here is on the same line as this, the slope through these points has to be the same as the slope through either of these points through there. So one way I could do this is I could find the slope between these points, which would be negative 8 minus 2 all over negative 1 minus 1, which is negative 10 over negative 2, which is 5. Then what I can do, sorry for bumping the camera there, I can take one of these coordinates and set up an equation like I did on the front. I know the slope between this and this is 5 because it says that this is on the same line as those. So I'm going to choose this coordinate and this coordinate to set up an equation using the slope formula that's equal to 5. So this is going to end up being 2 minus 17 on the top, all over 1 minus x. I know that has to equal 5. Let's simplify that a little bit. 2 minus 17 will be negative 15. I'll have a 1 minus x on the bottom. And let's multiply both sides by 1 minus x, because when I multiply by 1 minus x over here, that's going to cancel this guy out. And I would have an equation that looks like negative 15 is equal to 5 times 1 minus x. From there, we have an equation we recognize. Let's distribute. I got negative 15 is equal to 5 minus 5x. Let's subtract 5 from each side. And I get negative 20 is equal to negative 5x, and divide by negative 5, and x ends up being a positive 4. And that's all the problems from GRE 502 number 1. So go ahead and finish up the rest of those, and contact your teacher if you have any questions.